Over 25% of all new local brands launched recently are in the beauty and personal care industry. To learn what drives this trend, we have Adel Takutita from Euromonitor International, Kenneth Kosula from YCP Interactive Solutions Division, and Annie Yao from Flywheel Southeast Asia. What changes in customer buying preferences are driving the growth of beauty products?
So first of all, we're seeing that ingredient transparency and ingredient formulation are desired skincare features, and they're growing in importance for consumers both globally and specifically in Asia Pacific. We're seeing that consumers are actually willing to pay more for the products that have those desired skincare features. So let's say from our beauty survey data, we're seeing that in Asia Pacific, consumers are willing to pay from 10 to 20% more for the products that they care about, and those would be having natural and premium ingredients. So in general, consumers are caring more and more about their health and overall wellness, and this drive this ingredient-led beauty market to grow. And consumers are becoming more and more educated about what kind of products they're buying, and as a result, brands will have to be more transparent about what kind of ingredients they're using and how they're positioning their products in the market.
Like what has just been mentioned, I think a growing level of education in terms of the ingredient efficacy is certainly one of the key driver. And just on top of that, what we've observed is also in the past few years, consumers have actually been adopting a lot of different routines, a lot of different products, a lot of different brands. So it's essentially also, I think, a shift towards simplification, as in consumers are looking for something that helps them to simplify, right, what they are applying on their faces. So from the sales numbers that we've been monitoring across Southeast Asia, that's also what we are noticing. So products with more simplified formulation are actually driving the growth of the beauty sector, which is certainly responding to the demand of consumers.
Yes, I think Egle and Annie have really captured it really, really well. The Asian skincare market is really on a hockey stick growth driven by, new launches of beauty products left and right, new innovation in ingredients, among other things. So this category has actually democratized that everyone across the entire gender spectrum is already embracing a skincare routine. And it's very particularly interesting for the Asian market because Asian skin problems vary per individual. And before, without having access to information on how to take care of your skin, it was difficult to check what works for you. Now, beauty brands understand these problems and create products that can help solve these issues. The way that beauty products also articulate these problems also helps in the buying journeys of customers because they really capture these pain points so well it has become part of their skin ritual.
What role does ingredient transparency play in the success of new beauty products?
I think having access to information on ingredients has definitely helped drive the growth of beauty products. Um, Transparency on ingredients for beauty brands is very important because we see this trend to happen across the entire digital ecosystem. Platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook really shorten the purchase journey of customers. And in fact, TikTok in the Philippines shares that 64% of their users searched for more information about a beauty brand after seeing it on TikTok. And this is very demure and mindful how the TikTok trends, right, of consumers, because these consumers are much more discerning now when it comes to what they apply on their skin. And what also helped them is the transparency of what these ingredients can do to their skin. And brands really do it in multiple ways that are quite engaging.
Like what Ken had mentioned, we've certainly seen more brands are being transparent and educating consumers about the efficacy of the ingredients. So that is the first part. And secondly, I think compared to years ago, ingredient transparency has moved from good to have to must-haves. As in for the new brands that's been introduced to the market, that from a sales number perspective, we see great success in the regional at the regional level, such as Scientific, something, original note. So these are some of the successful brands from a commercial perspective that has really been proliferating in the region. Every single product that they've introduced to the market have been leveraging ingredient as a main brand story to tell. So that has been, I think, very proven and telling when it comes to why is it so important to communicate transparently.
Well, for example, in India, among Indian consumers, ingredient transparency is more and more appreciated. And we're seeing that how brands are responding is that they're listing their key ingredients prominently on the product packaging, and in this way trying to better communicate what kind of products consumers are buying and what kind of benefits are they getting from those products. For example, in South Korea, this brand Innisfree has reorganized their product lines according to the key star ingredients of those product lines to better communicate the message about the ingredients and their benefits to the consumer.
What are the major challenges that brands face when expanding their product lines?
One of the main challenges brands are facing at the moment is that it's a very crowded space, as in there's so many brands with all sorts of products, with all sorts of ingredients out there. However, there are several, evergreen ingredients that's being communicated, such as niacinamide, retinol, AHA, BHA, etc. So I would say that from brands' perspective, on the lookout for a newer, more effective ingredient. Yes, it's one route, but more importantly, of those proven efficient ingredients, making sure that you are sharpening your communication and communicate across all channels that's possible, such as TikTok, like what we've just discussed, because it is a relatively engaging format that consumers are getting used to now and gathering their information when it comes to what product to choose. So that would be my recommendation.
Yeah, to add to what Annie said, at some point, all beauty products would already have the quote unquote essential ingredients like niacinamide. So it's very important to ensure that the brands elevate its functional superiority and difference from other brands through ingredient innovation. There are various ways or areas that brands need to keep checking, such as safety, efficacy, and even ethical appeal to make sure that their ingredient innovation still becomes on top of the pile.
Just to add, Tanya and Ken, beauty and personal care market is highly competitive. We're seeing from our innovation platform that in India, Singapore, Australia, and New Zealand, on e-commerce alone, around 4,000 new products were launched in beauty and personal care since 2023. And also our data shows that around 20% of the brands launched in 2023 were not available by the end of the year. So the market is really competitive and brands really need to understand the different consumer preferences across different markets and different usage occasions. That's why, local brands are thriving in China or let's say South Korea, particularly in dermocosmetics, because the usage occasions for South Koreans in dermocosmetics, for example, is a bit different compared to other markets. And knowing these differences can help brands to successfully launch products and be successful.
Thank you so much to Adel, Kenneth, and Annie for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Again, our guests were Adel Tekutita, consultant for product and innovation at Euromonitor International, Kenneth Kasula, manager for interactive solutions division at YCP, and Annie Yao, head of growth for market intelligence at Flywheel Southeast Asia. For more news, please visit retailasia.com.